I think the summit will go well. This is no longer the campaign. We now have the leaders of the two most important countries in the world meeting together. I think they want to establish a relationship that will help them to deal with the problems in the bilateral relationship. So there are two goals I think both leaders share. One is to establish a personal relationship that will help them manage the problem areas in the relationship. And secondly, to create a framework for dealing with those issues because they can't be solved at simply one summit.
We'll come back to it. We'll try to fix some of your audio problems there. But Tom, let me turn it to you. You've been a board member of a number of Chinese companies. I think you were the first American to sit on a board of a major Chinese bank. The narrative going into today is that President Trump is going to be more aggressive on North Korea and more aggressive on trade. How do you think the Chinese are going to react?
Well, I think the Chinese will expect mutual respect to be the objective of the meeting. And I think if President Trump becomes too aggressive or too assertive early on in the meeting, I think that hope will be violated. My sense is the Chinese are really looking for an outcome here that is simply the start of a relationship. In many ways, this is an introductory meeting for both leaders. I think that they will have an opportunity to understand one another's style, and ideally this then presents the basis for continued discussions around more strategic issues going forward. I think in my view, if we can get to a point where both nations perceive the opportunity to create a long-term strategic relationship that might span 4 or 5 decades with perhaps a rolling 5-year plan, that would be the most significant outcome. That can't be accomplished today, but this would be a first step to creating cordiality.
Tom, what message or tone do you think the Chinese leadership is going to come prepared to deliver on the trade relationship in particular? In other words, if there is some kind of friction back and forth about perhaps having more of a level playing field, what do you think their stance is going to be to the president?
Well, I think they'll come in with a firm recitation of the facts that, in fact, from their view, American companies benefit in an extraordinary way from trade with China already. Exports are nearing $500 billion annually. There's an opportunity to go to $1 trillion over the next 5 to 6 years, given the kind of growth being seen in the segments into which American companies are selling, and the fact that China appears to be liberalizing certain segments, not sufficiently fast to the liking of American companies or CEOs, naturally, but in their view, liberalizing nonetheless. So they feel they are conforming and trending in the right direction and putting forth a positive atmosphere for American business. I think if you were to talk with American CEOs directly, my view, my experience would suggest that American CEOs would like to have a more level playing field. They would like the Trump administration to advocate for that. They do not, however, want the Trump administration to disrupt what has become a stable atmosphere for American business in China. They simply want it to be improved incrementally and in positive terms. So we should look today for something to come out of this that really begets more stability rather than more volatility.
Ambassador Roy, is it your opinion then that they really will get to some of the meatier issues between them on trade, given President Trump's focus on the trade deficit, on what he says has been currency manipulation by China? Not to mention, of course, the difficult issue of North Korea. Or are they simply setting the stage for future conversations?
Oh, no, I think all of the difficult issues are going to be on the table, but they're not going to be solved at this meeting. I think what they need to do is to get the issues out in front of them and then agree between the two leaders that these need to have a process that will produce a positive outcome.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.